They want to take our homes. Folks, this is not an exaggeration. Mamdani in New York City is taking your home. He's transferring ownership from landlords to nonprofits.
We will take aggressive legal action to remove negligent owners and property managers. And for buildings that have suffered chronic neglect, we will work to transfer ownership to responsible stewards. Stewards that include community land trusts, nonprofits, or even the tenants themselves.
Leftists love nonprofits. And for anyone who just, you're listening to him and you're saying, why is this a bad thing? Why is this a bad thing, Nicole?
Listen, when the government says they're coming to help you, you should know you're in deep shit. Mm-hmm. It's about to get really real. I knew that this was going to be a BS press conference when I saw the person with the mask standing behind him. I knew then that it was going to be some ish. I knew it. But trying to take someone's private property, something that someone has paid for, and give it to a nonprofit or to the people who rent from them is going to be an uphill battle, even in New York City. Even in New York City, you cannot just commandeer someone else's property. You may not. And if he thinks he's already experienced an exodus, what's going to happen when everybody floods the market with these so-called unlivable buildings that these people quite literally live in? What happens when the property prices drop because the market is flooded? What happens then? What are they going to do? Florida can only take so many people. That's what it's going to be. People do not have to live with this. I don't know why he thinks that people have to stay in New York. They don't. They do not. They can sell their buildings and move on.
Some people can't move. Some people may not be able to afford to move.
I'd sell a building and move. If I owned a building, oh yeah, I'd sell it. Mm-hmm.
If you can find somebody to buy,
I'd sell it. Sure enough, I'd sell it to one of his damn nonprofits. Sure would. And let them eat each other. Let them eat cake.
Because right now, like you mentioned, if you are a landlord and you say, you know what, I'm done with this, I want to sell it. Well, the nonprofits, what Mamdani is talking about, he's trying to get rid of these buildings. He's giving it to them for a very low, almost free. If you are a landlord and own property, you're trying to at least get market value. These nonprofits aren't going to pay market value for it. Shelly, what are your thoughts here? I mean, he's saying that he's targeting chronically neglected buildings with bad landlords. So why can't you take it? What's wrong with taking a property from somebody if they're a so-called bad landlord?
Okay, so first of all, that happens, number one. Now, if your property is neglected, condemned for X amount of time, depending on the jurisdiction, your property can be, confiscated, if you will, condemned, seized by the local jurisdiction. That can already happen. So aside from the neglected and abused properties that he's talking about, he also gave the impression he's just going to take property, period. Okay.
Yep.
So that is what we call communism. Now, when he gives it to these nonprofits, this is how the game works. He's going to give it to a nonprofit that receives grants, okay, i.e. taxpayer money from these grant funds, and to take care of the building. Who's going to do the upkeep? The tenants are not going to do it because the building's still going to fall. So basically the government is going to own, I'm going to say, just for arguments purposes, 90% of the private property in New York City, okay? That is what we call communism. There's no profit margin. The government produces nothing. So therefore the buildings are going to further decay. The tenants are not going to have reasonable accommodations to reside in. This is all the communist, and it's a communist grift, if you want to call it that. It's communism, nevertheless. He's telling you outright. Again, you cannot say he lied to the New Yorkers because he was talking about this on the campaign. So in this case, he's true to whatever he campaigned on. He's doing what he said he was going to do. What I don't understand, again, why those New Yorkers standing behind him and largely supporting him. See, in their minds, they're getting something free. It's the big bad capitalists that have them, holding them down, and Mamdani's coming to rescue them from working and slaving or whatever and all this stuff. And you will have nothing, and you're going to be content with nothing. That's what you're going to do, because it's not going to work. It's communism. I've said that 3 times. It's communism 101.
Well, the broader goal is, from what they're talking about, New York Post is reporting, part of building or preserving 400,000 affordable units over 10 years. So it includes rent freezes, mass public spending, over $22 billion with a B dollars, and decommodifying, this is his word, housing. So he's treating housing as a human right, not private property. All right. So how he's going to do it? He's going to raise property taxes. He's going to do stricter enforcement. He's going to do right of first refusal for tenants and nonprofits, and use city capital budgets to act as non-speculative market actors buying distressed properties. Okay. So, I mean, this, we've seen this before.
We used to call them projects.
And
that's what we still call them projects.
Right. It failed. In New York City, particularly, public housing was notorious for slums and decades of mismanagement, drug bastions, crumbling buildings, crime. I mean, we know this. Anybody who's seen New Jack City knows this. So I don't
Baltimore, every major city has had what we call projects of public housing. And largely they were torn down, whatever they dozed them to be, bulldozed them, but they didn't work. Number one, like you said, they were slums. They turned to be slums, drug infestations. They cost more to repair and maintain than they were worth. So this already tried and true. What is he doing that's new? Nothing. He's just repackaging it and making it sound more palatable. And these fools are back there, woohooing and all that stuff. And they're going to be the ones who actually wind up still living in slums.
Venezuela light. Venezuela light. They can't even keep the power on over
Cuba.
there. Oh, that was Cuba, right? Yeah.
Cuba, the same thing. And this is a learning lesson for them. It really is. And the way that it's going to fail is going to impact the people who live in New York for generations. Wow. It's going to take them generations to dig out. The best thing that could happen for Zohran the moron is that Kathy Hochul stays governor. Because she's going to do her level best to kind of continue to bail him out. But ultimately, when New York falls, and it's not an if, when New York City falls, the rest of the nation is going to have to make a decision if it's worth saving. Yep. Do we dedicate resources to rebuild what used to be the world's greatest city?
But this is what I'm upset about. This is what I'm upset about. So you have people like Mamdani who create these policies, and they write these laws, like Mamdani, like Westmore, and then it's the following generations that have to deal with this stuff. We've seen. What do you think is going to happen when they start lessening the punishment for these juveniles? It's going to increase crime. It's going to increase juvenile crime. These kids are going to drop out of high school, so it's going to continue lower education, lower jobs. They're not going to be able to get jobs. Not going to be developed. And I mean, and then it affects us for generations. Same thing with New York City in this. And then they turn around and blame the white man.
That's
right.
That's
The
what I was saying.
boogeyman.
So you're under the impression that they really actually care about the consequences of their policies. They don't. What they care about is a permanent, perpetual underclass, if you will, of people, of criminals, drug addicts, undereducated, no jobs. That's a permanent class that keeps them in the business of saying, oh, we're going to create this program for you. It's a vicious cycle. They need that while their families, their children, they're off in gated communities. You know, they're in West Point or wherever else they might be, wherever else they may be, but they're not there in the areas that they have created. And then, of course, you're right. The white man, see, it's the gift that keeps giving.